Hi folks, I'm Aleks U and you are awesome. Today's 15 minutes and the timer is counting already here. The topic is you are great. You are perfect. And we're gonna go into it to see the real reasons behind, not the superficial surface, oh I'm great and you're perfect. Oh, no, we're gonna go into it to see the actual true reasons why this statement is a fact. Now, I've got these tangerines, mandarins here in my hand. I don't even want to let them go because they're so delicious. They smell amazing. As I always say, it's a real quick shortcut to put you in the present moment. When you smell something nice, it can be anything, it doesn't have to be nice, but nice is better. It actually stops the brain from going in this thought race, and it puts you in the present moment, because while it processes the smell of these mandarins, it doesn't actually think, it processes. Now, the topic, you are perfect. The reason I picked up that topic is because it's a slap in the ego's face right away, right? Because you are perfect, even though from egoistic point it might sound like, well, yeah, of course, a person with a big ego say, I'm perfect, I'm great, I'm this. But it's actually, there isn't an ego on this planet that actually believes it, right? It's a very superficial, because if the ego, the actual condition or the fundamental roots and pillars of the ego is that there's all sorts of things wrong with you, and definitely not that you're perfect, right? Because the ego exists and thrives because actually it thrives on the fact that you are not perfect. That's what the fundamentals of the ego is, right? Now, it might seem that some people believe in greatness and powerfulness, right? That's an outside projection of the ego, but underneath this grandness that they project that they are, it's a humongous void. Because the only way the ego, that any human beautiful being will buy into an ego and live by an ego like we do, is because you're also accepting that you are separate, and a separate being that is not enough on many levels, that there's voids and gaps that you're trying to fill with greatness, of achieving greatness in this world. That is the fundamentals of the ego, that there's many things wrong with you, that there's a lot of drama, and that there's no way on earth that you are perfect, right? That the ego cannot accept that. In fact, the ego doesn't know how to comprehend this statement, you are perfect. So trying to understand this from a thought perspective, it will clash with all the beliefs that you have about yourself. Because see, if I take myself as an example, as I grew up with all the conditioning that I accepted, and kind of the conditions and the beliefs that shaped who I believe I am, right? They're all based on the fact that I'm not perfect, right? That I'm lacking or not having, and that throughout life you achieve those things, right? It's just, so the software of how we set up a human on this planet, right? Like from the moment you're born, you start in that community and society on this planet. You start to learn that you're a separate thing, and as a separate thing you always lack things, right? Like all the way from as simple as you are hungry, you don't have food, to in this world you need money, you need a partner, you need friends, you need a love, you need purpose, you need meaning, you need career, school, and like the list is very long of the things you need. But if you look at opposite of that, it also means things you don't have, right? I want to get those things. The only reason you buy into that is because fundamentally we grow up believing, almost accepting as a fact, that we lack and need and must have these things because I don't have it, right? Like I'm lacking it. That's why I want to go get it, right? And it goes on for everything we do and the way we live life. From looking at the social media, where all the things that are displayed in front of me are things I don't have currently, or places I'm not in right now, right? So the way the way that my software is built and I process and live life on a daily basis comes up from lack, not abundance, and not completeness, right? That is why, not that's why, but that is the reason why the ego survives, because it I bought into it as a separate thing. I lack all those things, so I'm holding on to the ego that is telling me that once I get all those things one by one, or I need to, must get them to fulfill those gaps. But the actual problem is itself, because if I don't buy in a separate self, as a separate self that has this lack and needs all these things, then then the need is gone and I'm complete and perfect right away. See, if I was to accept this, my ego is gone in a minute, in a thought. The fundamental pillars of the ego are broken, right? They just crumble down. And what we call, what is known as awakened, you wake up, right? Spiritually speaking, you become spiritually awake, right? Because now you understand, it feels exactly like waking up. It's like, this is what I've been buying into or bought into for my life, like all the way to now. And it exactly feels like you've been dreaming it. It doesn't feel like real, because it isn't real. And as you wake up, the ego is gone, right? And the only thing that's left is your perfectness, your greatness, your amazing, beautiful being that actually it doesn't think in terms of I'm perfect. It just knows that you are it. You cannot be not perfect, because perfect signifies that there's imperfect, but you realize that you're totality, that you're actually beyond the word perfect or imperfect. You feel total, complete, and the close feeling that I can describe is peace, ease, home. These are the feelings that you'll be feeling. That is the opposite of ego. And the reason I chose the word perfect is because it triggers things to the ego, and hopefully to the actual self that you are, the being that you are. It triggers thoughts, it triggers maybe feelings and emotions or concerns, or it triggers questions or disagreement, right? And so as an exercise, I encourage and I challenge for you to do this exercise and say to yourself, whether you're looking in a mirror or just sitting down, to yourself, I'm perfect, as an exercise as many times as you need to. And I wonder, what are the feelings that this generates? What are the thoughts? Is it an accepted thing to say I'm perfect? The way it is and the way I am right now. Is it, what does it generate in you? Because it the ego cannot give you an answer to this, anything that has meaning anyways, right? It will not accept it. It will argue. It will try to understand it, but it won't, right? It will definitely argue and give you 1100 reasons why that's not true, right? But if you dig enough in it, and for a period of time, what might happen is an inner realization to say, well, yes, not as a perfect as in definition as humanity says it, or displays it, or illustrates it, but perfect as in I'm a human being. I participate on this planet, and at any given time I did, and I will do my best with the knowledge I have, my state of alertness or state of awareness that I have at the moment, my capacity and my surroundings, I've done and will do my best. Yes, my brain, my ego, my mind, I should say, really loves judging me. Like my ego judges myself all the time for how the things could have been, should have been, what I should have done, could have done. And so it's for the average human being, it's very unlikely to accept that they're perfect, because the ego will constantly tell you the opposite, and not in words like you're not perfect, but it'll give you reason why you suck, right? That's the ego is excellent at this. Oh, you should have done this, or you could have done this. Why did you do this, right? This is the narrative. In fact, if the narrative in even a single ego is displayed somewhere, it will sound so insane, it'll be hard to believe that these thoughts actually run in our brains, more or less to every single person on this planet with different degree, every day. It's incredible that we survive it for as long as we do, right? It's incredible. So the ego doesn't want to hear anything your ego self, which is the one that thinks, right? Not only cannot comprehend that perfect, it doesn't, it's not in its vocabulary, it's not in its goal or agenda, right? The agenda of the ego is the opposite, that you need to always lack something so that you can fight for this greatness that is measured in, I don't know, things and the way we measure it nowadays in community and society. And underneath is what a gap of emptiness, of pain, of lack. So the only you and only you can actually, or you understand actually what perfect means, that you're perfect. What does that mean? That you're great, that you are an amazing human being, that you are an incredible creature, because it's a fact, it's something you know inside, it's something you feel. It isn't something you can arrive to by thought. For the reasons we said, the ego doesn't know how to arrive there, and its purpose is not to arrive there, so it will never take you there. It might give you certain happiness here and there, conditional to the things that you believe bring happiness, like good, positive, and positive. But to actually feel it, be it, only you know how to do it, because it is who you are. You are an incredible, beautiful being. That's not something I'd like you to think about. This is something I'd like you to feel, or allow that feeling to be, because it's already in you. And the way we're going to do that is, in this, as in this example, is prompt that question to you. Am I perfect? I am perfect. I am perfect. And see what comes up. Play that exercise, because I know that the ego will give you 11 million reasons why not, but you are the one that has the power, right? You and only you, to actually bring up the actual truth about you and give the opposite facts, the beautiful things you do, the beautiful things you've always done, given with circumstances, always done the best that you can, always. And feel that kindness and beauty that's already in you. Feel it, and you will know that's inside you. And that feeling that actually, like, it feels like a wrapper, gentleness around you, that feeling when you feel like, and you feel so comfortable, so relaxed, so at home, and everything just feels right, then you know that's true. Because truth does not need protection. The ego bullshit that's happening in your mind needs to be protected, validated, the thoughts. But your true being, that is bigger than you can think, because it is bigger than thoughts, for sure, it doesn't need to be defended. But at the same time, with no need for us to shy away from being that being anymore, any longer. No need to suffer any longer. There's enough ego suffering on this planet, everywhere we look, but it doesn't need to be so. eventually we all wake up and say, wow, I'm a beautiful human being. I belong here and I am an amazing part to this beautiful community. And at any given moment, I did my best. And at any given moment, I'll do my best. And I love who I am, this perfect, beautiful being. Not in terms of the ego, like I said, because in terms of ego, you'll always be imperfect. Well, you don't have this and you lack that, and how can you say you're perfect when look at that person has that and that and that, you don't have it, how can you be perfect? Or I don't have hair, or I'm not tall enough, or you're not big enough, small enough, you don't have, I don't know, like millions of reasons, none of which is true. And you're right, the ego is right in these terms. Nobody is perfect, right? Because they are impossible and they're designed to never be completed, because then that means the ego is gone, and the ego doesn't want that. But you need to check in with yourself. Is that what you want? Past the 15 minutes mark here, that topic that you are perfect obviously hides a lot more underneath it, because the truth is you are, but you're also far beyond that word. You're a beautiful, gorgeous human being, irreplaceable on this planet. So I am gonna go eat my mandarins here, and you, I hope, have a wonderful day, week, year ahead of you until next weekend, where I'd love to have you input for a topic to where we're gonna talk again about mind triumph, and which also means less ego and a lot more joy. Bye.